Can you be seated, please? Just take 2 minutes out of the coffee break time. We would like to announce some of the district awards that were taken by the clubs to make you wake up this morning. It's the Vocational Service Cup. The Rotary clubs that achieved this cup were Alexandria Cosmopolitan. If the president of that club or any of, AG Khadija. Mabruk. Alexandria Marine. Alexandria Metropolitan. Rotary Club of Cairo Royal. Thank you. Rotary Club of El Tahrir. Rotary Club of Heliopolis. Rotary Club of Qasr al-Nil. Rotary Club of New Cairo. Rotary Club of Maali Jadida. Cairo. Rotary Club of Ash-Shuruq. خير سرايات المعادي.
بدنا تشجيع يا جماعه اللي عم بيروحوا awards. شيء صح.
Now we come to Jordan, Rotary Club of Amman West. Rotary Club of Amman Jarash. And the rest of the clubs that submitted for this cup get on merit that will be presented later. Thank you very much. You can have the coffee break now. Thank you.
Okay, we have a coffee break for 10 minutes. Session, and the second one for today is, we'll talk about the new generations. Of course, we'd like to welcome our great, also Mrs. Nada Alawi Shubba from the Rotary Club of Somalia, Bahrain. يا جماعة ما تنام يعني بدنا شوية نرحب بالموجودين على السيد، بدنا نسمع شوية ترحيب موجودين، أوكي؟ يلا. أيوه.
صباح الخير عليكم جميعا. Good morning. Vice President, good morning. Governor Osama, I'm quite privileged and honored to be among a distinguished panel like the one we have today. The subject is the theme of the conference, and it is the main subject we have: new generation in Rotary. During the last year, there was a lot of confusion on the definition of the new generation subject meant by Rotary. Our past Rotary International Director, Phil Silver, will elaborate on what's meant by new generation as an avenue of service. But there is a lot also of confusion happened, that a lot of clubs have been formed, named new generation clubs. And every district has started working hardly in forming new generation clubs. The criteria is not the same from a district to another, and the subject was not clear to everybody. To our knowledge, that the board of directors last week have solved this matter, and there will be no clubs named new generation clubs. The clubs which have been chartered as they are as new generation clubs will remain with their charter name, but no new clubs will be named new generation. They will not be named next generation, young generation, whatever generation they are. So the club will be always named the Rotary Club of, and the locality, and then the city. That doesn't mean we don't need new generations in our club. And we have to define at the beginning what's a new generation. We all discuss about new generation. If you are 75 years old, then there is two new generations after you. The 50s and the 25th. A generation is defined as the time from your birth up to the average age of having a new offspring. So if we discuss in our area that average age is about 25, so it's every 25 years your new generation. So with an average age in our clubs of 50 or 55, we are discussing the people and the generation whose age is 25 to 30, and how to make Rotary appealing to them. Our president has mentioned, past President Carlos has mentioned rightfully, that we need to change. The sessions yesterday was discussing the way of communication, how new generation think, and we have to understand how to make our Rotary more appealing to the new generations. I will not consume more time. I'm honored to present our first speaker. Past Rotary Director for the year 2008-2010, Philip J. Silvers. Phil is Principal of Silver Road Associates, providing board development training and strategic planning for non-profits and Native American tribes. He was a federal policy planning specialist and private sector management consultant in Washington, D.C. for 25 years. Phil worked in higher education at several universities, including the Universities of Arizona and Arizona State and at Peak County College District. Phil has been recognized for his 40 plus years of service to community nonprofits, neighborhood association, education institutes, and the Diocese of Tucson. A Rotarian since 1986, Phil was president of the Rotary Club of Tucson. He joined the Rotary Club of Tucson Sunrise, Green Valley, Verde in 2012. He's the district governor of District 5500, 99-2000, with Carlo Ravizza, who was your governor, and District Rotary Foundation Chair 2003-2006. He served as the Arizona Tri-District Pets Trainer for the year 03-06 and represented District 5500 on the faculty of Arizona Rotary Tri-District Leadership Academy. Phil and Kathleen started 2 successful Rotary clubs in Russia, the first minority and majority club in Tucson. Phil was instrumental in starting the Rotary Club of Ramallah, Palestine, and we salute him for that. He chaired the 3rd Rotary Russia Conference, was a presenter at the Presidential Peace Forum in St. Petersburg, Glasgow, Chicago, Salt Lake, Birmingham Convention, and Zone Institutes since 1998. Bill is the most outstanding past district governor for Rotary Global Quest in 2001-2002. Kathleen and Phil have 2 children. Dr. Julie, a senior analyst with the Government Accountability Office and a member of the Washington, D.C. Capitol Hill Rotary Club, a radio station manager in Tucson. Both were Rotary Youth Exchange students in Valencia, Spain. Phil and Kathleen are Bequest Society, Paul Harris Society, Arch Glampus Society, Rotary Foundation donor, Advice Fund, Charitable Trust, and Give. May I present to you Phil Server.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, sisters and brothers of the family of Rotary. Now, after 30 years of trying, some Rotarians have succeeded in having a 5th avenue of service, which we are calling New Generations. But people are wondering, what difference does it make? Is it just new words, or does it really make a difference? And especially our young people are asking that question. As you know, the Council on Legislation approved this in 2010, And the incoming president, Kalyan Banerjee, thought that we ought to define what we mean by this and develop a mission and philosophy for our work across our 4 basic programs: Youth Exchange, RILA, Interact, and Rotaract. What are we trying to accomplish? What are our values across all 4 programs? And so he appointed a committee, New Generations Committee, and I served on that committee along with 4 others. It was chaired by past Director Sushil Gupta of India. And the committee recommended to the board and the board accepted last fall and said that all of our programs of New Generations ought to include service experience, service learning. Yes, we have done that in Interact and Rotaract, but now Youth Exchange students ought to experience service learning. Same thing with our RILA camps. That is now part of board policy. In addition, each club and each district ought to have a coordinating chair for New Generations. But we started to develop a vision and philosophy of what we're trying to do as Rotarians in New Generations. And you know what? We looked around the room and we found nobody from the New Generations in the room. So we said, we can't do this. We need to talk to our young people and the young adults in our programs to see what vision they have for our future. Yesterday, Wael Fakaharni said, if you spend some time with 18 and 19-year-olds, you will change your way of business. Well, we spent some time with our young people and young adults, and it remains to be seen whether you will change the way we do business. So we did two international surveys. One I called Blue Sky. We just asked some questions and let the respondents tell us in their own words what they thought. The second survey was more close-ended, and we said, give us 3 words, or which of these was of value to you, and so forth. And then we did focus groups in Latvia, Cairo, and Montana. And we covered all 4 of the New Generations programs. What does Rotary stand for? This is what they told us in their own words: to reach out to other people, an integrating force, providing Rotary values, and a way to peace. And one of your young people who is in the room this morning, and if you are patient enough, at the very end of this conference, the last plenary speaker, we will hear from a young person. But he had this to say: political leaders do not create peace. Relationships create peace. And that's what Rotary does. And then there was a young woman who's a Rotary president from Illinois. I use this as an example of how articulate and insightful the young people can be as spokespersons, not only for their own programs, but for Rotary International. What she describes as the brilliant and unique way that Rotary operates, mainly on the local level, but how we tie together the whole world through our programs, so that every club can decide what is important. This kind of insight we need to get from our young people. We asked them what Rotary can do better, using them as our ambassadors, being more collaborative, being a friend rather than their senior. Keep in contact with them as they move from program to program and beyond our youth programs. A better website, by the way, we are working on this right now. They want the tools to lead, to grow, to develop. They also told us that Rotary is exciting. Wael Farkahani told us yesterday that we are not connecting with our youth. I believe that he is misinformed or uninformed, because the youth are telling us that they've had an exciting experience. We can provide better access to Rotarians. This is a huge finding worldwide in 2 surveys. We are not spending enough time with our youth and young adults. We're leaving it up to the committee chair of Youth Exchange or RILA or whatever, and we say, that's Ahmed's job, that's Susie's job. They want to be your friends. They want to spend time with you, and you are not giving them the time that they deserve and they want. In some countries, we need to open Rotary to younger professionals. This isn't worldwide, but some countries. And that's why the Board of Directors in its strategic plan has recommended that every region of the world have a plan for transition from new generations programs to Rotary clubs. It has to be done, I believe, country by country, because the environments tend to vary so much. So we asked them, when you were in your program, whether RILA, Youth Exchange, Interact, Rotaract, what did you get out of it? You can see the 2 main areas is making new friends and developing leadership skills. Also, the global connectedness was a value that they got. We did a Wordle. Give us 3 words that describe your experience in new generations. You know what a Wordle is, right? You get the impression. The more often that word appears, the larger it comes out in the Wordle. And this is all good news. Unlike what Wael told us yesterday, we are connecting with these young adults. Everything is positive in this picture. Friendship, leadership, fun. It's a rewarding experience. But look at how small the word service is. But if you ask them to describe Rotary itself, service is huge. Community service, international service. They understand what Rotary is all about. So, our challenge over the next few years is to change these Wordles. If we go back, so that service is what they experience in their Rotary programs, and not just what they see Rotarians doing. Okay? So, as a result of speaking with more than 200 young adults around the world, our committee drafted a vision statement, and this is what went to the Board of Directors. Our programs in new generations are an investment in the future of our families, communities, and Rotary itself. We share the ideals and traditions of Rotary, including friendships, the joys and rewards of service, respect for all of the peoples and cultures of the world as a foundation for peace, Rotary's 4-way test, and then, importantly, progressive leadership experience opportunities in Rotary's programs, from Youth Exchange to RILA to Interact to Rotaract to RILA to, so that they have a sense of ownership of the franchise. And if they feel that they own the franchise, they will be much more likely to continue on in Rotary once they move on from Rotaract, right? If we give them opportunities to have ownership experiences, if they are planning and running part of their own programs. To view new generations as full partners in service with progressive responsibility for planning their programs as they move along our continuum of program opportunities. The safety provision is a reminder to us that this is primary, to keep them safe from all kinds of harm, and to encourage specific goals and outcomes. And, as I said, we looked around the room. Here's a committee on new generations, and we had no new generations people. So our recommendation is that every committee that deals with new generations issues ought to include new generations people and alumni of those programs. Use new generations to tell their story. They can do it beautifully. And if we're talking about connecting with the future, connecting with young people, we ought to be using the, not old people like me, but young people to tell the story, because they have the words, they have the concept, and they know Rotary and can communicate it to the future generations. And we have provision in the works right now for maintaining contact with them. And this last phrase in yellow, we need to be friends. We need to spend time with them. This is the foundation of our effectiveness with them, not just leaving it up to a committee chair. 2450. I know just a little bit about the effectiveness of your programs. You know a lot more. But I have seen exemplary Rotaract clubs in your district. As a matter of fact, you need to help those of us in North America to understand what Rotaract can do. And Kalyan Banerjee wants you to do that. As a matter of fact, we've initiated some contacts. Your Interact clubs, I have been so so impressed at how inclusive they are. Do you know what I mean by that? They've got kids with physical disabilities, some of them severe disabilities, physical and mental disabilities, and they're in Interact, and they're feeling so good about what they're doing. Your RILA for young professionals that we witnessed in Cairo was truly impressive and suited to that age group of 20 to 30. I want to tell you about Taylor Wilson, and I will. And then the GSE team that you sent to Arizona this last year. Here we see the interactors, or the Rotaractors at their orphanage project, which they own and manage. On the upper right, you see these disabled students performing. They were the opening act at the New Generations Presidential Conference in Cairo, and they were so happy and so proud. And then the RILA for Rotaractors. The Interact group, and there were a couple hundred of them, and when it was a very warm Cairo day, but when they sang, "Peace is my land," we all felt chills. It was so moving. And we are the world. We held a focus group with representatives of Rotaract from your district. Several countries were represented, and one of them is a former Rotaractor who is a new Rotarian. They feel great joy, and they know what Rotary is all about. We don't need to teach them anything about Rotary. They know very well. But they don't know Rotarians. They haven't been able to spend time with you. They see that we look on them as their projects and not as partners. How do we change our attitudes and our behaviors? They want us as friends, not as seniors. And even an old goat like me, they want to see me as a friend. Makes me